The gun hasn't fired yet, and already you can feel it. 8 women, 1 lap, 0 margin. Romain Trinquant for France, Charlotte Henrich carrying Great Britain, Anastazja Kus for Poland. Every single lane loaded with someone who came here to win. Martin is the fastest in this age group in Europe this year, but this race is wide open. Who has... Johanna Martin, Germany, lane 8. She's wearing the blue bib, fastest in Europe this year, 51.55 at the European Team Championships, finishing right behind Femke Bol. Lina Safia Al-Saidi, Norway, lane 7. She set a personal best earlier this month and has already ducked under 53 seconds. Victoria Kwarteng, France, lane 6. She was 4th last year, ran a personal best in qualifying, and won her semi-final. She is in form. Anastazja Kus, Poland, lane 5. The defending gold medalist and a World Junior Relay medalist on top of that. Charlotte Henrich, Great Britain, lane 4. One of the top favorites here. She's taken a full 1.5 seconds off her personal best this season alone. Borghild Holstad, Norway, lane 3. National championship silver the last 2 years running, looking to push her personal best of 53.6. Lenka Gmerska, Slovakia, lane 2. European Youth Olympic Festival silver medalist, made the final at last year's championship. Romain Trinquant, France, lane 1. French national indoor champion this year, and she's got a loud, passionate home crowd pulling for her tonight. This is the race of the night. You can feel it in the stadium right now. Lane 1 to lane 8, this field is stacked, and there is no clear gap between the favorites. Martin has the fastest time in Europe this year, but Henrich and Kus are right on her. Kwarteng won her semi-final in a personal best, and she is dangerous. This final could go 4 or 5 different ways. Someone in this field is going to run the race of her life. They're settling into the blocks now. The crowd is up and loud. Here we go. They're off. Kwarteng fires out of the blocks, and she is flying through the first 50 meters, fastest out of anyone in this field. Martin surging on the outside, pushing hard into the first bend. From lane 8, she can't see a thing on her inside, so she runs her own race and forces everyone to respond. Henrich is smooth in lane 4, controlled, tracking the field without panic. Kus in 5 is disciplined, waiting for her moment. Kwarteng has gone out hard and she is flying, but that pace will be tested in the final straight. Martin is working around that bend with real drive, closing on the leaders. Henrich, Kus, Martin all within striking distance as they come off the bend and hit the straight. This whole stadium is on its feet, and this race is wide open. Henrich is pulling away. She's digging as deep as she's ever had to go. Martin is right on her shoulder, and Kus is closing hard from behind. This is not decided, not even close, and every one of them is giving absolutely everything they have left. Charlotte Henrich wins it. Gold for Great Britain. 51.68, a brand new personal best. She needed every single thing she had in those final meters, and she delivered every bit of it. What a performance from the girl in lane 4. Johanna Martin, the fastest in Europe coming in, hangs on for silver in 52.00. Anastazja Kus, the defending champion, digs in those last few strides and grabs the bronze in 52.23. Victoria Kwarteng finishes just off the podium in 4th. Henrich is the European Under-20 champion, 51.68, the fastest she has ever run by a massive margin. Great Britain takes gold in the final event of the night. Henrich stares up at the scoreboard, 51.68. You can see the moment it hits her. The crowd is going absolutely wild. Victoria Kwarteng finishes 4th in 52.26, agonizingly close to that podium, and she is devastated. She ran a national under-20 record and still didn't medal. That is how good this final was, top to bottom. Think about what Henrich just pulled off. She ran against the fastest under-20 in Europe this year, and never blinked, not once. Kwarteng blasted the first 100, Martin came through and piled on the pressure around the bend, and Henrich never cracked under any of it. She stayed exactly where she needed to be, held her form, held her nerve, and when it came down to those final meters, she pulled clear and didn't look back. That's not just a personal best. That's a mature, controlled championship performance from a 19-year-old. Great Britain goes home with gold. Martin had no choice from lane 8. She couldn't see her rivals, so she front ran and hoped the legs would hold. They didn't, quite, but silver after running 52.00 is a strong result. Kus faded badly in the final 50 meters and looked like she might miss the podium entirely, then somehow found something in the last strides to snatch bronze at 52.23. 3 more strides and Kwarteng would have had it. Henrich was just the better athlete tonight. Watch Kwarteng off the gun. She is a completely different class in the opening 100. Out of those blocks with real force, and by the time the field hits the first bend, she is visibly clear. That opening pace is aggressive, borderline reckless, but she has no choice if she wants to control this race from the front. It will cost her later. Remember that. Now shift your eyes to Martin in lane 8. She is running completely blind. She cannot see Henrich. She cannot see Kus. She cannot see anyone on her inside. Her only move is to push the pace hard and make everyone else react to her, and that is exactly what she does, driving through the bend with everything she has. Now look at Henrich in lane 4. This is where the gold medal is won and lost. She is not chasing Kwarteng's opening pace. She is not panicking at Martin grinding away out wide on the outside. She is locked in, completely in control of her own race, running exactly the split she needs to run. That face in the replay, she looks almost calm. She is not. She is running faster than she ever has in her life, and she is doing it while managing a championship final against the best under-20 field in Europe. Here's the moment everything changes. Coming off the final bend and into the home straight, Kus in lane 5 pulls right up onto Henrich's shoulder. For a full second you think Kus might have the angle and the momentum to go past. Henrich doesn't flinch, not even slightly. Her stride lengthens, her arms drive harder, and she begins to separate herself with about 60 meters left. That is the decisive move right there. Martin is fading now. The front running from lane 8 has taken everything out of her legs. She is still fighting, she is giving all she has, but the legs are not responding the way they did on the bend. Kus is closing on Martin from behind, hunting the silver, and she nearly gets there. Martin just about holds on. Meanwhile, Henrich is already pulling clear, and by the time she crosses the line, the race is not close. 51.68, a massive personal best. Great Britain has its European under-20 gold medal, and Charlotte Henrich is the champion. The race was decided somewhere around the final bend, not at the line. Watch Henrich coming off the turn into the home straight. She doesn't accelerate dramatically, doesn't make some huge visible move. She simply holds her form while everyone around her starts to compromise theirs. That's the whole race right there. Martin had gone out hard from lane 8, front running because she had no choice, and by the time they hit the straight, her stride was shortening. Kus came with a late charge from lane 5, got onto Henrich's shoulder, and couldn't go past. Henrich crossed in 51.68. A personal best by a significant margin, and it wasn't as close as the finishing order suggests. Lane 8 is a tactical prison in the 400. Martin ran 51.55 at the European Team Championships, the fastest mark in Europe this year in this age group, and she earned the outside lane because of it. But that means she can't pace off anyone. She has to set the tempo blind, hope she's running the right fractions, and trust her fitness to bring her home. Martin did what any front runner in that position does. She pushed the first 200 meters, kept the pressure on through the bend, and faded just enough in the final 30 meters to let Henrich go. Silver in 52.00 is a strong result. It's also a time that, on another day with a different draw, might have won this final. Henrich, meanwhile, sat in lane 4 with a perfect view of Martin on the outside and Kus directly beside her. She tracked the pace, stayed composed, and waited. Controlled running around the curve, no wasted energy, arms working efficiently. When Kus challenged, Henrich didn't panic. She just kept running her race, and that was enough. Kus is the reigning champion here, and she nearly defended. 52.23 for bronze is not a bad run. But she came from behind, which tells you she went through the first half of the race too conservatively. She found her best running in the final 50 meters and almost caught Martin. A fraction more aggressive through the first bend, and this conversation might be about her. Kwarteng is the one who'll hurt most looking at the results. She was the fastest through the first 100, visibly clear of the field early, and finished 4th in 52.26. 0.03 of a second off the podium after leading through the first bend. That's a runner who spent energy she couldn't get back. A national under-20 record for France is real compensation, but 4th in a championship final at this level is a number you carry for a while. Sub-52 at the under-20 level in Europe is rare. Henrich's 51.68 puts her among the faster performers the continent has produced at this age. Martin's 51.55 from earlier in the season is faster still, so this isn't an all-time landmark for the event. But the depth of this final is worth noting. 4 athletes inside 52.30, with Kwarteng's 4th place time a national record. That's a very fast race at the under-20 level. The last time a senior European 400-meter final had that kind of density at the top, you were looking at athletes who went on to medal at world and Olympic level. Whether that trajectory holds for any of these 4 is the question, not a guarantee. Henrich's next marker is the senior circuit, and the gap between under-20 and senior 400 meters in Europe is real. The best senior women in Europe are running well under 50 seconds. She's not there yet, but 51.68 as a teenage personal best is a platform. The British middle distance and sprint pipeline has produced senior medalists from under-20 champions before, and Henrich's ability to run a disciplined, tactical race against a faster opponent on paper is exactly the quality that translates. Watch her in British athletics senior competition over the next 2 seasons. That's where you'll find out if this was a great junior performance or the start of something bigger.